Good afternoon. Welcome to another Fireside Chat with Pastor Dustin. Hope you're doing well. We've been going through the book of James, chapter 1, for the last couple of weeks. And James chapter 1 really starts us off with some very important introductory thoughts that help us really understand the meat of chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first introductory thought that we saw is really baffling when you think about it. His first main idea is, you know what you need to do, Christians? You need to enjoy your trials. He says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." And you know, those verses are easy to say. Maybe you even have them memorized. But, you know, sometimes our life, because of trials, just looks like this. I mean, everything is out of control, and we're trying to fix it. We're trying to make sense of it. You know, we may get a couple things worked out, but, you know, the next day it's all messed up again. How do I get my life from this to this, where everything's figured out, everything's in its place, and I have stability in my life? I want you to know, any person can have this. It does not have to be this. It can be this with God's help, and that's what He wants for you. Well, how do I get it from all out of control, all mixed up and down, and emotions are running crazy, to stable? And the answer to that is really principle number 2. We need to enjoy our trials, and we need to embrace wisdom. Let me read to you James 1:5. It says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him." We have a need for wisdom. If you can't see your need for wisdom, you are blind. The question is, do you need wisdom? Well, yeah, every single day I need wisdom. I don't have the ability to see through walls. I don't have the ability to look into the future and see what's going to happen. I don't have the ability to look into somebody's heart and see what they're thinking. I have no idea how to do all those things. When I think about it, I am very fragile and have no control over my situation, but there is a God that has all wisdom. I have a need for wisdom, and so do you. And I just want to let us know that wisdom is an available gift. Hey, if any of you lack wisdom, we all do. We all need it. And God has a dump truck full of it to pour into your life at any given moment. What is wisdom? Some people have many different ideas about what wisdom is. When you study the book of Proverbs and the Bible, you get this sense that it's knowledge. There's your base, understanding, and then at the pinnacle of that is wisdom. I think that's a fair assessment of what wisdom is: knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. It is the pinnacle of knowledge. It is putting the knowledge and the understanding into practice. I do not know much about cars. Maybe you do. There's a lot of difference between me, who knows very little about how an engine works, who simply turns a key and enjoys the pleasure of being able to drive, not really understanding or knowing how it all works. I understand a few things. The gasoline goes into the engine, and it fires cylinders, and it moves, and things like that. But there's people that I know who are mechanics, who can take an engine apart and they can put it back together. They can hear it and tell what's wrong with it. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. The wisdom is being able to put hands on, being able to influence and change. God just doesn't want you to know there's a problem. He just doesn't want you to understand, boy, I need help. He wants to give you the wisdom to fix it. He has an available gift for you if any of you lack wisdom. And then we see that there's an asking of God that needs to take place. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. The idea, let him ask, means to beg or to crave. Do you crave wisdom? Do you crave going from this to this? Is that a big desire? How big of a deal is that to you? Is it a big enough deal for every day for you to ask for wisdom? God, maybe I can make a little bit of difference today. Maybe I can get closer today. Is it a big desire for you to know? Is it a desire for you to ask? We need to ask for wisdom. We must let the knowledge of our need for wisdom be connected with our knowledge that God has wisdom. And so I know I need it, and so I'm going to express faith in asking God for it. There's an available gift. There has to be an asking of God. And when we do that, there is an abundant granting. Notice it says in verse 5 again, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally. Now the word liberal is not a bad word in the Bible. It simply means to give freely or to give bountifully. That's what the word means. It says if you ask God for wisdom, he is going to give it to you generously. Maybe you had a grandma or a person in your life that, loved to give you an extra helping of mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving. I mean, when it came to dishing out mashed potatoes or food, they were generous. Some of the best lunch ladies I ever got to meet in my school experience were the ones that gave liberally. I mean, they would dump on the mashed potatoes. They give you an extra brownie if you ask for it. See, that's how God is. He is generous. God is not stingy when it comes to wisdom. God has all the wisdom you need, and he wants to give it to you bountifully, liberally, not holding back. God does not have a quota on his wisdom. And wise people are the ones who learn God is wise and ask him for wisdom consistently. Consistently, not just when everything's messed up, when everything's going great. I need wisdom when it's smooth sailing and when it's turbulent waters. I need God's wisdom, and there is an abundant granting. And lastly, I want you to know here that there is also with this wisdom an affection of grace. An affectionate grace. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not. That word upbraideth, we don't use that word very much in English. That's why I encourage you, if you come across the word in the Bible you don't know, get your dictionary and look it up. Upbraideth means to defame, to chide. If you ask God for wisdom, he's not going to come at you and chide you. He's not going to come and throw it back in your face. Well, I gave you wisdom yesterday. What are you doing back here again? I gave it to you yesterday. You asked me for wisdom for that same problem. I gave it to you. Why do I need to tell you again? God is not like that. He has affectionate grace. He's going to give you wisdom every day, and he's not going to throw it back in your face and say, boy, you are dumb asking me again. That's not who God is. He knows who we are. He cares about us. He wants us to get it right, even if we have to ask 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. God is affectionate. Sometimes when people ask us the same question over and over again, what happens with us? We get frustrated. That's not God. He's not going to chide us. And so let me just encourage you today with our devotion and just say, hey, you may look like this. All right? And trials will show you what you truly look like. God wants you to be like this. What's the difference between this and this? Wisdom. Bible's full of it. Get in it, read it, ask God for it, and watch him change you. Have a great day. God bless you.